I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of February 17th, 2016. Happy New Comic Book Day. Happy New Comic Book Day. Happy New Comic Book Day. The happiest day of the week. All kinds of cool stuff from all kinds of publishers, and if you've been watching this for a little while, you know that we like to talk about things that we think are awesome, or that we like the best, to encourage you to pick up great comics and put down bad comics. We don't talk about the bad stuff. In the file under Is This Really Necessary department, we have Power Man and Iron Fist #1 from Marvel Comics, written by David Walker, artwork by Sanford Green, and as I just said, we talk about stuff we like, and then I kind of slammed this by saying, is it really necessary? But we know Marvel. They want to keep all of the characters that are going to be in the media front and center, and it kind of makes sense. Power Man and Iron Fist was a very popular series in the 1980s. They've tried to bring it back several times since then, and failed every time. And even tried to bring Iron Fist back with some top-notch A-list talent that only 5 people read. It's excellent. But the Ed Brubaker run and then the Matt Fraction run of Iron Fist is really, really good. This is a complete 180 from that. It's very comical, buddy cop movie type stuff, and a non-traditional Marvel art style, which seems to be showing up in lots of the under-the-radar or more niche books at Marvel, things like Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel, and now we have Power Man and Iron Fist. Having said all of that, I really liked it. It's nice to see these characters back together again. I have a soft spot in my heart for this team because it was very popular when I was a kid. I like the characters individually, but I also like them more when they're together. And they're saying that they're not getting back together, but apparently they are getting back together to help one of their former friends in need. But everything is not as it appears, as it is so often in comics, and that's why you come back for the next issue. Lots of familiar faces in here. We get glimpses of Jessica Jones and Baby Cage.
Is her name Danielle?
I think so.
And if so, is she named after Danny?
I think so. Actually, yeah. Tombstone from Spider-Man is here. I feel like I'm a late-night talk show host. Tombstone's here! He'll be talking about his new organized crime in New York City. And it introduced a phrase which I will be using quite frequently now. Instead of 4-letter words, I will be saying fiddle-faddle. So thank you to David Walker for that. Strong story, good art, good characters, good team. You should read it. Any comments on that?
No, I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It felt very much like a 70s or an 80s buddy movie, which is exactly what they're going for, I would assume. So, new from Dark Horse, we've got Tomb Raider #1 for the 3rd time in 2 years, I think. This time around, we are written by Mariko Tamaki with art by Philip Sevi. I'm sorry, with line art by Philip Sevi and colors by Michael. I should have stopped when I was ahead. Atea?
Just stop.
This is another new Tomb Raider series. I enjoyed the beginning of the previous Lara Croft, but I kind of fell off towards the end. This one sucked me back in. I didn't want to like it, but it's a very cool issue. You've got Lara is at a conference in, I think, Minnesota for archaeologists. And then that's intercut with things that happen, I believe, in the future of that timeline with her and traditional archaeology, caves and bad guys and whatnot stuff. But I actually really like the Minnesota intellectual training stuff a lot better than the archaeology. She hooks up with and she trains with this random person in personal combat, a friend of a friend. This is the first time they've met, and she's blind, and it's about teaching you to listen to other parts of your body and to take in all of your senses, which obviously will come into play later in the story, because that's how stories work. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was much more fun than I expected.
So she was trained by Stick.
Yes,
and
she's now Daredevil.
Come into play with the Daredevil series on Netflix. Okay, Huck #4 is out. Buy it. Huck is awesome.
It really is awesome. And I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I know. It can't stay... It can't, right? It can't stay good all the time. All 4 issues, incredibly solid. Amazing artwork by Raphael Albuquerque. Great storytelling by Mark Miller. I mentioned in an earlier episode that this is the most, I don't want to say kid-friendly, because there is a 4-letter word in this issue, but it's PG-13 material. It's something I could give my teenage kids, my 14-year-old, my 16-year-old, to read, and I will once the trade comes out, because they will totally dig it. And again, we get this is a turning point. Issue number 4 is a turning point. Just as the end of issue 3 was another turning point. So I don't know which direction Huck is turning now, but he's turned several times. It's just really good. It plays with familiar archetypes and familiar stories that we've read over and over again, but with a fresh take.
Yeah, and this is I think the most... I almost want to say enjoyable. Just like a lot of Mark Miller books tend to be about, kick-ass and superior. They're about the dark side of humanity.
Ripping things out of people.
Right, and Huck, at least so far, is largely about, hope and positivity. And I know Mark Miller's going to break my heart and destroy me later in the series, and I forgive you, Mark.
But for now,
if
you're not reading it, please do yourself a favor and read Huck. I think we have all the issues back in stock. So you can get them here if you're local. If you're not, go to your local comic shop and find this series. And if you're a movie buff, seek out the movie variants, which we didn't have to qualify to order. Thank you. We could order any way we wanted to. So this week's issue is an homage to E.T.
Next up, we've got Avengers I'm sorry, maybe that's issue? Avengers 001 Standoff, Welcome to Pleasant Hill. This is... But it's I guess that's the numbering, but it's a one-shot. It shouldn't have a number in there.
It's like an alpha, right? Is this alpha?
This is an alpha. This is the prelude. This is Welcome to Pleasant Hill.
Oh, there's a prelude, there's an alpha, there's an omega.
Yes.
Then there's some other
It's like Revelations in a lot of ways. This is the start off of sort of a mini event going on in the Avengers books over the next couple of months. And this is where it kicks off. Like Mark mentioned, there's an alpha that kicks off the true story, but this is a prelude that sets it up and lets us know kind of what's going on. On the cover, we've obviously got a little girl with a cosmic cube, it's a cosmic cube. There's nothing else that could be in the Marvel Universe. Mm-hmm. And it's about a guy who wakes up in this town with no memories. And it's almost like a 50s style town. There's a lot of smiling and very sort of structured stuff.
I have to stop here, and then you can continue. If any of you have watched Wayward Pines on Fox, this will seem very familiar to you. Not the same story by any stretch of the imagination, but that's what it felt like to me. As I was reading this, I'm thinking, this is very much the town from Wayward Pines. Carry on.
I don't know anything about that, so I believe you. But we do see some Marvel Comics characters that I don't know that we've ever seen before. Eric Selvig is in here, who is... I don't ever remember...
Cinematic Universe character.
Right, but was he ever in the comics? Is he based on someone? I don't remember him ever.
I don't think so.
I
think he was an original creation for the movie.
Okay, well now he's in here looking no small amount like Stellan Skarsgård.
He is clothed.
And we get Maria Hill and a couple other characters, and obviously, as it always is when you have a happy little town, not everything is as it seems.
Nothing is as it seems.
And we get a setup at the end of the issue for what we're going to see in the book. This one is written by Mark Spencer with art by Nick Spencer with Mark Bagley. I made the words together. And yeah, check it out. If you're an Avengers fan, this is going to be affecting the books you read probably. So
do not flip to the last page.
Yes, no, don't do that.
You will spoil it for yourself, because I thought it was going to go in a completely different direction, and
and I think they led you into that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
They definitely.
And I didn't. This is like the Tomb Raider for you. I didn't want to like this, and I ended up really liking it. So, all right, again, it's another month. Another issue of Superman American Alien is out. This time, issue number 4 of 7. Max Landis continues to give us glimpses into the life that Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman, may have had on his road to the New 52, or just on the road to adulthood. This time we get artwork by the always awesome Jay Lee, and that's one of the huge selling points of this issue. But Landis needs to write a Superman book. I mean, he's writing one now, but whatever form DC Comics takes after June, July, whenever they're going to do their magic tricks, give Max Landis an ongoing title and let him do whatever the hell he wants to do, because that is the best decision that DC Comics could make. This is awesome. Lois and Clark meet each other for the first time here, and they're both college students or grad students. They kind of win a contest to go cover a press conference between Oliver Queen and Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne, talking about a collaborative effort to make people awesome, something like that. And the interactions between the characters is so dead on. I mean, it's what I want to see in these characters. So thank you, Max Landis, for giving us 4 amazing issues. Now, I will say the first issue didn't sell me. If I remember correctly, you really liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it, but issue 2, 3, and 4 have all been my picks of the week. And as I just said, number 4 is my pick of the week this week. Superman American Alien continues to be awesome.
But seriously, how weird is that cover?
I was just thinking, because I didn't pay much attention to the cover. The cover has nothing to do with the contents.
I mean, I assume that's supposed to be Lois, but
I don't know
maybe,
who that is.
I don't know what... I have no idea. Because, like, the last one was like, you know...
Oh, there's some arrows in there.
Yeah,
so that's
and you got a bat.
Ollie. I don't know what those are. Cameras, and there's some eyes, and there's a flaming crown. Don't pay any attention to the cover. Ryan Sook does a nice job of drawing whatever it is.
It's pretty, yeah.
But it has no reflection. It's no reflection of the contents of the comic.
Yeah, and I really love that in the solicits they said that Clark interviews 3 important characters in the DC universe, and they are not necessarily all the 3 that you would think from the description, which was my favorite part of the issue.
And they also reference, was it issue 3?
3.
Must have been issue 3. There is a reference to issue 3 in here, which is kind of cool.
All right, last up for me, we have basically Things Are Still Awesome. First in that category is Starve number 6 by Brian Wood with Danielle as LJ and colors by Dave Stewart.
I almost spit some coffee out.
I can't. I was telling Mark before we shot. I can't even articulate what I like about this book. It's just really interesting characters in a world that's just different enough from our own to kind of draw you in. And this is the start of the second story arc. We see resolutions to a lot of the stuff that was going on in the first one, a kind of a new direction for the main character. But it's a natural evolution. It's not like a 180 or anything, and it was just great. Not enough people are reading Brian Wood's Starve. The first volume is out in trade, and it's awesome. There's nothing else like it. And the other one that is always great, we've got Sex Criminals number 14, subtitled Ladies Please. Written by Matt Fraction with art by some dude named Chip, and it is good. Sex Criminals is always funny. The other material, the lead-ins, and the even like the I have as much fun checking in Sex Criminals and reading the stupid comments on the back cover as I do reading the book. It's insane. But yeah, Sex Criminals still awesome, still great. That is all. Now you know.
All right, top 5 list this week. We are scratching our heads. We could have done something Deadpool related, but I haven't seen the movie yet, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to. I will watch it at some point. I just don't know if I'll see it in the theater. So, Toy Fair, it just wrapped up in New York City. Something that maybe I'll go to next year. I don't know. I went 4 years ago and thought it was kind of cool. A lot of it doesn't really pertain to comic shops. It's really directed at mass market stuff, but there's a lot of cool, niche-y stuff that usually gets displayed. And this year, we're going through our top 5 things that we were impressed by looking at Toy Fair on the computer screens here in the office. So, number 1, Mezco is stealing the show and generating a lot of internet buzz about their 112 Collective action figure line. It's a 6-inch figure line that incorporates mixed media. So it's cloth and metal, of course plastic for the figures. And apparently they have a ton of licenses. So they've only released 3 figures so far. They did 2 different versions of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman figure, and then a Judge Dredd figure. And they've got another Dark Knight figure coming out soon. It's the mutant leader. But the stuff I'm really interested in, they've got the Star Trek Original Series license, and so far we actually have Spock and Sulu up for pre-order on the website, and they showed off their Captain Kirk prototype at Toy Fair, and it actually looks really decent. Some of the other ones that we've seen...
the Green Arrow looks amazing.
It does. It's like the Mike Grell Longbow Hunters mixed with Kevin Smith's version of Green Arrow, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. His hair's, yeah.
But a bunch of DC characters. They're doing Flash, they're doing Reverse Flash, Superman.
Was there a Cap?
Yes, that's
okay.
Marvel, though.
Well, right, but it was... I'm saying it was the same line.
Well, yeah, they've got Marvel stuff. They're doing 2 different versions of Daredevil, the red costume and the original yellow and brown costume. They're doing 2 different versions of Captain America, movie version and comic version, 2 different versions of the Punisher, just all kinds of cool stuff. They retail for ballpark about $75, so a little pricier than what we see for 6-inch figures, but they're really high quality looking. Again, I don't have any in hand that I can talk about, but I'm really excited about that. Next up, another thing, I'll stay in the world of Star Trek because that's my jam, is QMX, who has entered the world of 6-scale figures with their Malcolm Reynolds 6-scale figure from Firefly, which was recently released, and they did have prototypes on display for a Mr. Spock and a Captain Kirk from Star Trek the original series, and lots of people are raving about the head sculpts on these things, I mean, and myself included. I think the bodies need a little bit of work. Again, they're prototypes, but they've nailed the head sculpts. So I'm in. I'll pick up both of them. And we'll get order information as soon as we have it from QMX. Funko has taken over the universe. I mean, when I went to Toy Fair 4 years ago, Funko had a pretty sizable presence, and it has just grown since then. And not only for Pops, but they've started a bunch of new lines. They've got Dorbs, they've got pencil toppers, they've got Mopies, they've got all mini mystery minifigures, all kinds of stuff, vinyl idols. But a whole Pops is really what we're about, and I think what most of you are about as well. So they unveiled a bunch of new Pops that'll be coming down the road. They also had catalogs, and one of the pictures in the catalog was the Golden Girls. So we will have Golden Girls Pops, presumably by the end of the year.
So Funko, thank you for being a friend.
Yes. So that's 3. Number 4.
The Mattel.
Yes, thank you. Mattel is entering the higher end collectible game with Marvel Legends roleplay items, which are really like prop replicas. So they're doing a Captain America shield and an Iron Man helmet. Things that will look cool in a display of an adult versus the bedroom of a child. Actually, you could probably do that. But if I remember correctly, the Cap Shield was like $100, so it's not necessarily something that you're going to put in your basement for your kids to beat each other up with. But look cool enough and high quality enough that you can put in a display.
And that's still, 20% of the price of the other Cap replicas on the
look
market?
At an EFX Shield, and they're, those were $600 or $500.
I mean, they're amazing, but yeah.
So hopefully, the finished product will look as cool. And then finally, NECA. NECA always has a really nice display at Toy Fair and the shows that they do. A lot of it doesn't really fit in with what we do because they sell at mass market. So you can go to Toys R Us and you can find all of the 6 and 7-inch figures that they do, which just keep getting cooler and cooler. And I'm so tempted every time. Like they just showed off a couple new versions of Terminator figures from the original film, which look amazing. And they're reissuing some of their Rocky figures, which have sold out, but in new packaging, so it doesn't diminish the collectability of the previous releases. But what I want to talk about are their quarter scale figures, which seem to be getting better and better. And they've got some cool new licenses, including, well, some are new. They've got the DC license, so they're doing Batman v Superman. They also are continuing the Arkham City line with a Harley Quinn quarter scale figure.
Have they done any regular DC ones, or have they all been movie or game based?
They have all been movie or game based, yes, or TV show. And then something a lot of people are excited about, and this is just the beginning of the deluge of Turtles product. I don't know if this is an anniversary year for the Turtles, but lots of old school, like 1990. It's not an anniversary. The movie came out in 1990. 1990 movie style figures, quarter scale figures. So they're doing all 4 Turtles, and they look super cool. So they're about 18 inches tall. They run about $100 a piece. We've got several of them up on the website to pre-order if anybody's interested. And more cool stuff to come.
And as a subdivision of NECA, NECA also owns WizKids, who makes HeroClix and Dice Masters, and they unveiled the convention exclusives this year for the HeroClix line, and they are amazing. We've got a Turtle Van as a HeroClix to play with the new HeroClix Turtle set that's coming out, and my personal favorite, Batman from the 60s with the Schwartz, the board shorts, and a shark.
With the Schwartz.
So if you need Batman versus a shark in your HeroClix table, it's coming.
And that is a good way to wrap things up. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please give us a thumbs up and share this with as many people as humanly possible. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.